welcome back to From Another Point of View. My name is Alice.
And I'm Agnes.
And today in a short and sweet episode, we're going to be discovering
a personal style from two very different perspectives. I used to be a fashion stylist for years.
I am a fashion photographer. I work with influencers. I also have my TikTok page, so it's slightly different point of view. So let's jump in. I'm still trying to discover my style, but I'm closer than ever to discovering and really knowing for sure. And I guess the first point I would say is a little bit controversial because I think that the whole COVID break was quite helpful for me. Also taking a year off, which sounds so crazy, but I took a whole year off from work last year because I had panic attacks and quite bad mental health. So I needed to just step back a little bit, and it helped me in a sense of I wasn't around influencers and influencers influencing me on the job. Because I really truly noticed that I would be hanging out with certain people one week, maybe they had loads of projects for me to shoot, and I'd be seeing them 3 times a week, and I would get influenced to maybe dress the way they do, or it's kind of swaying me to a minimalist kind of approach, for example. And then next week I would be with other type of people, and that would be swaying me to maybe, oh, actually, I don't want to be a minimalist. And that was really confusing in my brain. And obviously it doesn't allow any space for you to really discover who you are. So I feel even though I did have COVID myself, so it wasn't a fun time, but what I'm trying to say is the break was needed for me to kind of just be by myself and really truly know what I want to wear every day when no one's watching. I guess we can turn to your tip number 1.
Experiment. I think don't be afraid of trying on things that really you never thought about. When you're inspired by, let's say, even if it's something that you see somewhere, which is magazine, a shop window, the good tip would be try it on and see how it looks, because I feel sometimes we are very set in our ways, and there is a certain way of dressing that we've dressed our whole life, so we don't step out of that comfort zone. And sometimes I feel stepping out of that comfort zone opens new possibilities. And even if you're too afraid of oh my god, I don't want to dress up and go out and get milk in the morning, maybe just get dressed and just walk around the house and see how it makes you feel. I feel clothes have a huge potential to change our mood. So experimenting with that would be my tip for sure.
And that really goes with my tip number 2, because I want to say be on exploration mode all the time. Because if you are in a place where you're a little confused, you don't know who you are, what you want, what you want to say with your clothes. Not that I'm saying you need to go and shop and buy things, but
we actually discourage that.
Yes. Total opposite of that. But it doesn't mean that you can't go into Zara and places on High Street that are very accessible and just try things on. Again, you don't have to buy it, but it's just through that, I always touch on my TikTok, but TikTok really helped me with my personal style because I started doing series of where I was trying on things. And again, I would pick up things maybe that I wouldn't necessarily want to buy.
Just to kind of see how it's gonna...
Yeah, and so many things also color-wise, the way they've cut, different silhouettes that I wouldn't necessarily be oh yeah, that's for me.
Yeah.
But I try them on and now I know they're for me. From that, you can, maybe look into your wardrobe, maybe you can style something in a different, in a similar silhouette. Maybe you can go on Vinted, Depop, whatever, and get it secondhand or whatever it is, but you get the knowledge through the experimenting.
I think experimenting is a big one.
And having fun with it. It doesn't have to be so serious.
Don't overthink it, and don't follow any fashion rules. Rules are there to be broken.
Exactly.
Don't be oh, I can't wear this, or I can't wear this color because of this, or I can't... No, just wear whatever makes you feel good.
Exactly. All right, tip number 3.
Tip number 3 for me would be, there is a YouTube channel that I've loved, and it's called Style Like You.
You sent it to me, and I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I have to say it's something that I want to watch to inspire, to get inspired from slightly different perspective, I feel like. So they had this series called What's Underneath, when there's different people coming on the show, and then basically taking their clothes off and saying what's underneath the style and clothes that they're wearing, like how much deeper that goes, but also on the other hand, what the clothes really mean to them.
Yeah, there's a story.
Yeah, there's a story behind that. So maybe that will inspire you to create a story with your outfit.
Yeah.
You know, just to express yourself in a certain way without having to speak. And I think
also,
that's quite fun.
And also thinking like twice, because we all have these stories, but we don't necessarily acknowledge it. And so just to kind of consume things that make you think a little bit.
Yes,
I think it's a great thing to do.
It really is, and it's not in any way kind of like you should be buying this and this is the whole and like whatever. You across every single episode you see people from so many different backgrounds, but people are so expressive with their clothing and they actually carry the message behind it. That is a huge inspiration. So I would highly encourage you to check it out.
Yes. What's really helped me is my career and how I can be quite creative, because I'm on sets quite a lot of times. I'm around creative people, so if I rock up with like orange eyeshadow and like crazy clothing,
no one's gonna look twice.
Exactly. So I can like explore that, and I've gone through like little periods of time like I'm gonna dress really crazy now. I'm just gonna like explore this craziness.
Experiment,
and I realized that it's not really for me, but at the same time I had the opportunity to do that, and also being on set where, you know, there's stylists and there's makeup artists, and I ask questions and I observe. And like, for example, one of the tips that I, you know, got quite early on is how to do an eyeliner for hooded eyes, which, you know, now you can see so many tutorials, but I feel like years ago no one was really talking about it.
Fair enough.
But I got it on set, like a little tip.
I've worked in a corporate environment for years, and have really used my weekends to be creative with my outfits and my clothes. So just think about it like that. If you can't dress crazy or experiment Monday to Friday, then use the weekend to do that. Experiment, have fun, you know?
And I think it goes with like what people you surround yourself with.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And I think like creativity is something that is contagious. I totally think that's the case. So if you're around creative people, or even when you people watch, like, you are going to absorb that. Just like you've mentioned, you were absorbing sort of, you know, being influenced by certain styles when you were not consciously even aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, and like bouncing from one to another.
Yeah.
It's the same with absorbing creative things, you know, just being aware of it. I think that's really important.
It goes with my last little topic that I want to talk about is like what you consume and like what people you're surrounded by. For example, me being a bigger size and curvier, if I'm, you know, consuming content on social media with people who are completely different size to me, who are, you know, constantly talking about diets or something, and it's really quite like negative.
Yeah, it's having a negative effect on how you're thinking about yourself, first
exactly. And it's so unnecessary. Like, there's already so much that you need to think about, and it's so much more important that you learn what you want to do from within, rather than like having all these voices from outside telling you need to do this, you need to do that. Comparison comes into the whole thing, and it's just so toxic. So
it is. I think awareness is really crucial. Awareness and like taking a step back when you realize that you're sort of in this like rat race, or like you're this hamster that's like running, and you don't really know, like, am I a bit of this, am I a bit of that, like what am I actually? It's a time to step back, and it's a time to reassess and try to like listen to your own voice rather than all the voices that you're surrounded with. I think there's also like what I would say is maybe looking at clothes as a creative tool. You know, looking at fashion as this like outlet of creativity that you would have in your life. You know, even if I think a lot of people, like I know a lot of people that are like, I'm not creative. But I feel like with your clothes, you can be. We all can be. We all have to wear clothes every single day. So you can use that as an amazing tool of being creative, you know?
It just like, it goes hand in hand, and like not getting into your head and like not overthinking it.
Yeah.
Just whatever you want to wear that day, just do it.
Yeah. And also, like, I think if you start doing things in that way, they make you realize that clothes have a huge potential to make you feel a certain way, you know?
So yeah, that's just touching on the surface a little bit. I feel like we could go in depth about this maybe another time. But yeah, these are like a few little things.
Few tips. So let us know how you discovering your personal style.
Yeah,
we would love to hear. Yes.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.